All right, looks like we're live. What's up, everybody? Good morning. It's Monday again, August 9th. Um, kind of some exciting stuff happening in pre-market. Not so much for CLOV, but DraftKings is one that I've been watching for a while now. They just announced this morning they're acquiring Golden Nuggets Online Gaming and also an official partnership with the Houston Rockets. So it's starting to get some pre-market action up about I don't know, maybe $3. But let's take a look at some of these other ones. Let me just get this set up here. All right. So just going down my list. Not a lot of action here on GameStop. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up the daily chart. We'll just kind of rip through these all at once and see what we can get in here. So starting with GameStop. I mean, it's just been fell below some moving averages recently, really trading downwards. I mean, I thought we kind of found a floor up here at 200 a while back, and it's just continued to go down, starting to trend upwards, but just off 2 days. Nothing much happening here with GameStop. No real news behind it. But similar to Clove, the company's released nothing but good news since their last earnings report and just been absolutely slammed down. BNGO, kind of the same thing. Nothing really happening. I mean, it does seem like maybe we found a new floor down here at 570, 550 levels. There is quite a little bit of resistance. Beat expectations on earnings. What was this last? I can't even, it's too early to figure out the date, but basically, I think it was last Wednesday, right? And saw a little pop. I'd really like to see this stock get above 7 and start trading up there. And, at some point, I do think that it's going to make a run up here. I'm holding strong. I know they did also announce that we should be seeing their next generation of the Sapphire system coming out here, I think in quarter 4. So, kind of a long term play for me. AVXL, another stock that I've been holding for a while. They're set to report on Thursday. I'm not sure if it's pre-market or after hours, but we did see a little bit of a jump last Thursday. We're holding up here. I'd love to see it get back above 20. There was a significant gap still down here that I thought it potentially could be looking to fill, but it looked to bounce off this 100-day EMA, so potentially not. But another one that I'll be watching. Like I said, they're reporting on Thursday, but they're also speaking at the at a biotech conference tomorrow. So we could potentially see some movement out of this stock tomorrow as well. Just moving on. Zoom's a play that I did sell my position in last Thursday when it started going down here for a pretty decent profit. It dipped down to 380 on Friday. And if it stays down in this level today, and I'm able to kind of, catch it before it gets above 400, I might look to either do that or wait for it to break 400 because Zoom's one that I'm thinking will, sometime here shortly, probably start to you can kind of see this pattern. I think it's going to continue to go up and potentially get up in the 450, 480 range. So another one that I'll be watching. There is going to be some resistance around 440, 450. But if it could break through that, I see it running up to 480, kind of this other level up here. So I don't have a position in Zoom right now. It's just one that I'm keeping an eye on. VIH, someone had called out in the chat. I think it was Dan last week, and I did, buy some lotto tickets on VIH, and the reason being was because the option chain was absolutely loaded up, which it still is. I was looking at this morning. Very, very small float, much smaller than Cloves, just for, as a comparison. I think it's like a eighth of what CLOV's float is. So these are ridiculous numbers, for the option chain on August 20th, 7,000 versus 500, 4,000 versus 200, 2,700 versus 500. All this is pretty significant in relation to their float size. So if this stock is able to pass $10, I could see it absolutely flying, and potentially, I don't know about ripping all the way through the option chain, but I mean, it is a small float. So VIH was kind of a lotto ticket play that I am holding right now. But the most exciting one this morning, like I said, anyone who's joining late, DraftKings. This is a play I got into down here. I ended up selling a little when we kind of ripped up, and then bought some more on the dip. There is a gap down here that I thought maybe it was going to come back and fill. But then when I saw it cross back above this moving average, I jumped back in. This morning, it's up huge right now in pre-market. DraftKings right now is trading at almost $54, and that's because they just announced that they're going to be acquiring Golden Nuggets Online Gaming, and also a partnership with the Houston Rockets. GNOG, which is Golden Nuggets, is actually running this morning too. So just something to keep an eye on. If we get like some really significant movement this morning, and break above 55, maybe get up to like $60, I'm probably gonna sell my DraftKings position and wait for a pullback to get back in, because the play for me was riding DraftKings up here into football season up to like 75. But if we get a really big movement today off this news, I'll probably exit, take profits, and then wait for a pullback to jump back in. Just because I know I've been saying it on this stream for a while. You always got to take profits, right? You always want to, whenever you get an opportunity to, if you end up making money faster than you expected, take your profits and then come back later. It'll always pull back a little bit, and if not, be happy with the profits you made. So that's my play right now on DraftKings. Moving on to CLOV, and then I'll get to the chat. Sorry, guys. I just started rolling this morning. Normally I get to the chat first, but so CLOV, this $8 line I drew a while back. We had been touching here intraday, but always closing above it. And that was consistent up until I think that was like last Wednesday, where we actually closed before, but then Thursday and Friday right back above. $8 to me is the floor, even though we did have this one day that's this outlier, but this is dating all the way back to July 15th. So to me, $8 is the floor. We have earnings coming up on Wednesday and after hours. I'm expecting we're going to beat Wall Street, kind of the street's estimates, which is what happened last time too. It should be positive news. We could see a potential announcement of the new CFO. They've been basically on the hunt for a CFO for almost a month now, I think, since they announced it. And that's my expectation. Maybe we'll get a CFO announcement. We should maybe get some guidance as to their expansion. They just made that announcement about expanding into Florida, partnership with Value H. So should be an exciting week. Social sentiment on CLOV picked up. It was one of the more talked about tickers on Wall Street Bets, I think, yesterday and over the weekend. So wouldn't be shocking to see some extra volume dump in. Every morning I've been tracking kind of the pre-market volume. Friday was a little bit lower. We were at 100,000 right around this time. Right now we're at 200,000. So it's double what we were at Friday, but that's pretty much what we were at on Wednesday and Thursday, if my memory serves correct. So nothing too exciting right now in pre-market, but this could be something where, maybe we get more retail piling in leading up to earnings on Wednesday, or maybe people wait and see what the earnings report is. I know I talked about this a lot, but I do expect to see a short attack on Wednesday afternoon. Once earnings are announced, I'm fully expecting to see this stock get attacked, because why wouldn't it? They've been attacking it like crazy, almost every day, or every day. So, it wouldn't shock me at all, regardless of what the earnings say, to see some sort of attack and then maybe a knee-jerk reaction by some retail that doesn't quite understand what the earnings means, and you'll see maybe some selling. But at that point, like I said, this $8 line here, I believe, is the floor, and that's where we've been seeing a ton of institutional buying taking place. We've been seeing a ton of support down here on level 2, so it wouldn't shock me at all if we do get like kind of that quick dump and fall below 8, and then all of a sudden we bounce right back. All right. Just let me get to the chat now. Is there anything else I was looking at here? The option chain on CLOV before I get to the chat. We'll pull that up. Because this is now reflective of Friday's buying. Basically, I mean, the August 13th chain is starting to really, what do we got? 850 strike, 8,700 versus 800. So 850 is going to be a key number, right? I mean, we haven't been really closing in the money much. We've been kind of pressed to this max pain, and max pain this week is 850. So that's where they're going to try to keep us under. If we can get above 850, potentially moving into earnings and then have some good earnings, really, I think things will start to kick off if we can get the stock above 10. But to really see like a true gamma squeeze, we're going to have to get a ton of calls in the money, and that would get us, that would be like out here on this August 20th date. But this all counts for this week. So let's say like Thursday morning, all of a sudden we're trading above 13. There's some significant numbers here in the option chain that would support, all of a sudden a huge run, potentially a gamma squeeze, maybe blow out the chain. That's what I'm looking at. The entire option chain continues to be pretty loaded up. So pretty exciting stuff. This could be an exciting week for CLOV. Also, so earnings are on Wednesday, and then they're speaking at that virtual tech conference on Thursday. So, to me, they moved earnings up. Could be because of the CFO, retiring, and they wanted to get it out of the way before he left. That's probably the most plausible reason. But also the fact that they moved it up, because normally you're in kind of a quiet period before your earnings, and they moved it up, which allows them to go speak at this tech conference on Thursday. And I would imagine you wouldn't go speak at a tech conference unless you have some positive news and information to share. So I would imagine that we're going to have a pretty good news week. Doesn't mean we're going to get good stock price, though. I mean, we've seen that already. Like we have tons of good news, and the stock still gets hammered down. All right, let me get to the chat. Sorry, guys. All right, Michael's here. What's up? Good morning. Aygo's here. Dennis, 6'8" spin drift. Lisa's in the house. Who else we got? Tim. Skip, thanks for joining. Aygo says, been hearing some talk of a DraftKings dip and rip. Yeah, it is gapping up too. So that's why, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to play this, because it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this thing fall back down and maybe fill that gap and then take off. But I mean, I already have my calls, so I'm kind of in a situation where if it's up to a point where, it makes sense to get out with a nice profit, I'm going to take that profit and wait for that dip. But if it starts dipping right off the open, I'm just going to hold on to my calls because they're all long term. Yeah, Scotty says DraftKings, some big news. I know I'm late. I probably already, you were probably already in here. Good morning, Scotty, though. Williams in the house. What's up? Shrimply. Lisa says bought any this morning. Yeah, I was on a message, and Degenerate was talking about any, and I saw some other people talking about any this morning too. Just want to see. Oh yeah, started off at 5, up at 645, or hit a high of 645, trading at 574. I don't know if that's off news or why that's moving, but it's definitely taking off right now. John, what's up? Good morning. DJ Tardis, what's up? Co-creators in the house. Good morning, co-creator. Usually you're one of the first ones to comment. Must have woke up late. Aygo says, looking at Beyond. I traded Beyond a lot last was it last December-ish, somewhere around there, December, January, February. I was having some success. And then I got lucky one morning. They announced a partnership with Pepsi, and I just happened to be holding calls, and all of a sudden it ripped up to like $200. So I was able to get out right at the open for some pretty nice profits. But I'm actually, I don't know if I've ever said this on my stream, but I know I've talked about my stomach problems I had a couple years ago, and how I quit drinking beer, but I actually ended up kind of slowly becoming a vegan just because of that, because of my stomach issues and everything else. So I eat Beyond Meat quite a lot. So Beyond's a stock that I've always kind of been interested in as a long-term play because I really, really like their products. Um, Justin, what's up? Good morning. D, what's up? How's it going? Who else is in here? Let's see. Gingivitis. Not expecting a big movement today, but I'm hyped and ready to call off on Wednesday if something starts happening. Oh yeah, I mean I'm absolutely calling in sick if if we wake up, because I don't know if you guys. I know I said it last week, but I start work again today. Teachers have to report back to school. I think the students come in on Wednesday, but for the first day of school. But if we start seeing if we're getting some absolute insane movement one of these mornings, and I don't care when it is, if it's next week, 2 months from now, whenever, I'm calling in sick, and we're just going to keep the stream rolling. I'll have to hit up Tar Heel whatever day it is and just have him jump on, and then we'll carry it all the way into Power Hour with him. But let's see here. Levi, what's up? SRT. Daddies need some green this week. Absolutely. Co-creator said, I like the round table. You guys are hilarious. Yeah, that round table was fun last night. That was that was probably one of the more fun ones. I would say more playful or less serious ones that we kind of did. But definitely some good information in there. If anyone wants to go back and watch it, it's on Tar Heel Blues channel. Also, he hit 1,000 subscribers last night, so I was pretty excited about that for him. He's been doing this for a while, very deserving to kind of get to that point. That was cool. So, if you want to go back and check it out, that's on Tar Heel Blues channel. Typically, Tar Heel's on here on Monday mornings with me, but this morning he did a little co-op with Champion Vibe, where they're going to be talking about TA and trading, and I think they're going until like noon, so noon on the East Coast. So if you're in here, I appreciate you sticking with me. And then if you want to go check Tar Heel out once I sign off, I'd encourage it. There's probably going to be some great information on there, something worth watching. Another one, if you missed Friday morning stream on this channel that I think is probably worth the watch, we had Mac Bracken on here, and he was dropping some knowledge. So, that's another video. I know sometimes it's hard to go back and watch live streams because they're so long, but I think there was a lot of great information in that live stream last Friday on this channel. So definitely that's one that's worth the rewatch. Um, I will. What I think I'm gonna try to start doing. Someone had left a comment, and I thought it was a pretty decent idea. Is maybe even go back and like cut up these live streams later on in the day and just make it into like a 10-minute clip of like the most useful information so that people can go back and watch it, because like that Mac Bracken one for sure I think would be worth kind of condensing down so that people can go back and get all the cool information out of it. So that's something I might be looking into. Also, like I said, I'm starting work today, so today I'm gonna try to jump off at 7:30, which is a half hour early, just because it's my first day of work and I got to make sure the kids are all ready to go before I go drop them off and everything else. So today I will be signing off a little early. Stars, what's up? Good morning. Eileen's in the house. Says it's going to be an exciting week. I sure as hell hope so. Tim says, I'm confused. Institutional investors use dark pool too. Therefore, we won't see price movement if these whales will buy through the dark pool. So who can move stock price? So basically, yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. So in order to make a purchase on the dark pool, there has to be a seller on the dark pool, right? So there has to be somebody willing to, because even as an institutional investor, let's say I wanted to come in and buy up 1 million shares of CLOV. Well, there has to be someone willing to sell me 1 million shares of CLOV on the dark pool, and it would behoove me to do it on the dark pool. That way, let's say right now CLOV's trading at 812, I can get all 1 million shares for 812, as opposed to going in the open market and driving the price up. However, if there's no seller on the dark pool, I can't buy through the dark pool unless a market maker is willing to take that position on, which would be a naked short. So if the market maker is willing to sell me shares that they don't own and allow me to buy in the dark pool, what's that end up doing? That ends up putting pressure on the market maker now, because now that 1 million shares that they sold me, they have to deliver to the clearinghouse. Otherwise, they're going to get a failure to deliver. So usually what'll happen is if the market maker sells me those shares at 812, throughout the rest of the day, the market maker is going to try to slowly accumulate those 1 million shares to deliver to the clearinghouse. Which is still going to put buying pressure into the regular market, because at some point these shares have to be bought somewhere. It either has to be from an institute, someone who already holds the shares, the real shares, is going to have to give them to whoever naked shorted the stock. And if they get an FTD, yeah, basically that's a way of kicking the can down the road 35 days, because now that gives the market maker 35 days to accumulate those shares. But what's happening with all these institutional buys we're seeing is they're coming in day after day. We're seeing more and more institutions buying the stock. So if it in fact is, market makers just filling in the dark pool with fictitious shares, they're basically digging themselves a bigger hole, and that's just pushing the coil down even tighter, so that when the covering does happen, it's going to be an even more explosive move. So yeah, no, it sucks that they can go in and do it, but just rest assured that at some point they have to buy these shares in the open market, or like they have to get real shares. Real shares need to be delivered to the clearinghouse to eventually be delivered to whoever bought them, whether it be, us as retail, whales that came in. The clearinghouse at the end of the day has to distribute those shares, and that's where FTDs come from. Do you think we will hit over 200 million this quarter in earnings? You know what? I have no idea. I'm not even gonna pretend to tell you like a lot of that, and how much revenue and all that kind of stuff. I do know that, you know, in regards to CLOV, they've been operating at a loss each quarter. So I don't think that, you know, I would imagine we're going to reduce that loss and continue that trend until eventually we start kind of crossing into the profitable stage. I know that, the more DCE contracts that we kind of bring in allow for more growth and more revenue because it's not capped. So, but I'm just going to be honest. I have no idea, in terms of where we're going to be at with earnings. I do think that, the executive team that they have in place is trying to expand the company, trying to grow, trying to move, expand their geographic footprint. And I think that the more kind of expansion we do and the more lives we take on under management, the cheaper it's going to be, right? And then the more we shift to DCE model, the more revenue we're going to be able to bring in. And the big one that I'm waiting on is the star rating increase, because if we can get up to a 4-star rating, that's going to be instant profitability. DJ says, just make sure your boss isn't watching the stream. Yeah, I know. You know what I was thinking about too, and I know this is probably bad. I'm just talking about it a lot, but I have the ability. I wouldn't necessarily call in sick. I'd just use a vacation day if it came down to it, for that very reason. Because I'd want to keep it all legit, especially since I'm sitting here streaming. But if I had to take a personal day to stay on here, and because we're mooning, it is what it is. D says, can you check hymns? Yeah, let me write that down. And then, but let me get through the chat first, because we're almost at the open. Oh, I did get through the chat. All right. So let's check it out. So HIMS is currently, I mean, it looks to be trading kind of flat this morning. If we look at the daily chart, kind of seems like this, damn, this must have been a SPAC at some point, right? Because it looks like it was flatlined at 10 before taking off to 25, and now it's trading well below valuation. Let's see here. Pull up the option chain on it real quick just to see, and then I'll also check out Gingervitis says your boss might get mad if they see you streaming since you didn't tell them about CLOV. That's funny. Let's see. So, I mean, quite a significant amount of open interest. I don't know how big this float is. Let me pull up Ortex data on it for you real quick. In terms of the short interest on this stock, just for when you're asking about, it looks like exchange reported short interest 10 million. Days to coverage pretty high. Cost to borrow seems low utilization. So this doesn't really look like a short play either. Unless there's some news behind it or something. I don't know much about this stock at all. So it's hard to kind of see what's going on there. Let me see how AMC's doing this morning. I know AMC's got earnings coming this week. I don't expect them to have significant earnings, but AMC's one of those stocks that kind of just does its own thing. It's got this crazy retail base behind it that'll come in and buy no matter what. So it can move. It has the potential to move. I was thinking about, maybe buying some lotto ticket calls on it at some point this week, just to kind of be a part of the ride if it happens. I did that a couple weeks ago and it didn't really pan out, but I've had some hitters on AMC before, so where I just jump in, and I would imagine earnings are going to be not great. I mean, considering that theaters just opened, yeah, I'm sure it'll beat the quarters that they had when they were, during COVID, because now they're open. But I don't imagine it's going to beat out anything when they were like really thriving in at full throttle 2 years ago. So, I don't expect huge earnings out of it, but even with bad earnings, I could see this stock absolutely just crushing it and taking off because AMC doesn't trade on fundamentals. Eric Brink says, Coach B, your videos are super educational. Glad I heard about CLOV from you. Yeah, right on. I appreciate it too, and I'm glad it's helping. Again, I know I got to go through today. I'm going to go through the comments on those Chalk Talk videos, but I'm glad you brought that up because that's one thing is like, I'm going to continue to go into the Chalk Talk videos and just try to keep breaking stuff down. So if you guys have ideas for any of those videos, just go on the most recent one and leave a comment. And that's where I've been getting the ideas on like kind of like what to do for the next video. And one thing I'm for sure going to do is continue on with the options. I know I just did the quick like what is a call contract, what is a put contract, only because I wanted to move into that market manipulation stuff. But I'm going to continue to go on and expand on the whole options thing. But at the same time, if there's any other topics or anything anyone wants me to cover, leave it in there in the comments on those videos. And then, I mean, even if it's something I don't know about, I'll do the research and figure it out or ask somebody that does and get the answers and try to explain it. That's how I learn too. And that's how I kind of like, I think the more you talk about something, the more you master it and become an expert in it. There's the bell. Let's see what happens here. So what do we got up? We got CLOV over here on the left. We're looking at 5-minute charts on everything right now too, just for anyone who's wondering. This is GameStop up on the top right. I got DraftKings down here. See, yeah, DraftKings is already starting to dip. And that's the shitty thing about calls is like I would have loved to have sold my calls up here at 54. Um, kind of expecting this dip to come back down and fill the gap. And, you know, it's already back down before the market opened. So I wasn't able to even get out any of my calls. Um, let's see here. Why is my AVXL? Who knows? So looking around the market now that we've kind of got the opening bell, you could this is AMC down here on the bottom, up 0.5%, nothing major. Just looking around at some of the stuff on my watch list. Zoom is still down in that 380 range. I think up, it's pretty flat, up 0.10%. BNGO down 0.5%, trading at $6.30. It's on a gap down. AVXL gap down 1.5%, trading at $19. SOS is still on my watch list, and it is up 10% on the day. Let's see. It looks like it hit $4 this morning. VIH is pretty flat, and that's kind of been what's been happening with it. It's trading in this $9.90 to $10 range. I would imagine it's going to see a lot of pressure to keep it under 10 before August 20th, but that's the play, is just to see if it kind of like, if it can get past there, things could get pretty wild. I think that's all I'm watching right now. I feel like I used to have way more on my watch list. I wonder what. Sometimes I forget when I start changing stuff up on Friday, and now it's Monday. I forget why I had certain stuff up here. But BNGO just popped. It's up 0.5% now, 630. That could be pretty exciting today. The S&P 500, just taking a look. Looks like, what do we have? Pretty flat right now. Basically opened up where it closed last week. You know, right in this range. So 442. Nothing much happening there with the overall market. I like to use the SPY as just kind of a gauge of the market. I know some people use the NASDAQ, some people use the Dow, but I just like to pull up the SPY. I always keep that one on my watch list just so I could see if all of a sudden it starts tanking. Maybe there's something going on there. Some other stocks that I kind of wrote down. I know Lisa said that she was on any. Some other people had mentioned that one as well. Again, not sure what the news is on that. Let me pull that up. Or that could be a squeeze play. I have no idea. Oh, Bitcoin mining deal. Okay. All right. And then another one that I had an eye on was, I know a couple of them. MRIN doesn't look like it's moving right now, but it's been in a falling wedge. And there was a couple other ones too that have kind of been in this falling wedge pattern that I think, at some point are going to take off. So I've kind of had them on my watch list to see if they eventually absolutely, start breaking out of that to maybe grab some calls. Looks like we're getting some movement on CLOV this morning too. So I'm going to keep Zoom up here unless you guys want to see something else down in this bottom corner. Let me know, call it out, and I'll put it down there. That's, if you're new to the stream, this bottom right corner, I usually just put whatever fourth stock we want to watch for the day. Looks like CLOV is starting to move though. Seems like we got a lot of resistance at this 830 mark right now. 13,000 and 10,000, so almost 20,000 shares. We did break through that, it looks like. Maybe we can continue to keep moving. Volume wise right now on CLOV, we're looking at 1.1 million. So not bad. Nothing too major, but this 5 minute candle here only had 784,000. So, um, Lisa says any is falling. Let me pull back up here and uh gingivitis is CLOV legally allowed to start with a 5 minute green candle. Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like we've been able to get that anytime recently, but we're getting it right now. And now that I'm looking around, it looks like AMC and GameStop are kind of getting the same price action right now too. So this may be something where all the meme stocks are maybe looking to make a little run today. I'm gonna pull up BlackBerry as well, because that's one that sometimes when things start pushing, BlackBerry kind of does the same thing. BlackBerry's also trading on 3 green candles. So is BNGO and AVXL too, though. But it looks like CLOV's up 2.7%, whereas AMC 2%, GameStop almost a percentage point. So let's see what happens. That was a nice big candle, though. Let's see. Wish 6-8 Spindrift's asking about Wish. Wish is a stock that I've been kind of intrigued in, just because I keep hearing about it. I don't know shit about the company. I'm not gonna lie, but so it looks like Wish is moving too. But I know it was down as low as what is this 752 recently on June 7th, and God, why is my I'm on a weekly view. I was like, what the hell is going on right now? There we go. So it did hit as low as 752, back up to 10. I know there's a lot of retail interest in this stock. People thinking this is gonna, potentially go on another run. It's something that I've been looking to get into, or not get into, but I guess do a little bit more research on, I should say. But yeah, Wish looks like it's starting to run a little bit this morning too. Matt saying go look at CLOV right now. I know I'm late on that. That was off that 5 minute candle. My bad. I'm late. Lisa says my husband told me today he wants to buy CLOV. Thoughts on a dip? I mean, to me, you could potentially see a dip in after hours on Wednesday. If we're still trading around this level and the stock gets attacked hard, we might see below 8 again. But I really feel like 8's the floor. And so to me, buying in now at 820 or buying in potentially on Wednesday at who knows, 790. I mean, that's really not a huge difference when you think about where this stock can potentially go. So it just becomes a matter of, are you willing to, who knows if all of a sudden in after hours on Wednesday we end up trading at, 950. I'd much rather be in at 828 than at 950. But that being said, is it worth waiting to see if maybe you can get in sub 8? That's just a decision you gotta think about. I think this can go either way, but I am expecting to see the stock get attacked hard on Wednesday and after hours. So you might be able to get a nice dip there. Gingivitis says CLOV is booming and zooming. Yeah, we kind of got into this oversold or overbought on the RSI too. So not surprising to see this cool down. Let's see what the 1 minute looks like. Kind of the same thing. You can see we shot up here when we hit 834 and we were all the way up at 85, on the RSI, and also hitting the top of these bands up here. So we are coming down on the 1 minute and bouncing off this 9 EMA. So I would imagine that, all we're doing is just kind of cooling off this RSI and getting ready for the next run up. GameStop's big number, I think, is 170 in terms of the option chain, where if GameStop's able to get up that high, we might see some pretty significant action. Soft Bunny's in the house. What's happened? Good morning, Coast. Let's have a good week. Dave, what's up? CLOV making a big move. Let's go. Michael says, tell him to buy 10,000 shares now. Fluffer, what's up? Good morning. Thank you for joining. Appreciate everybody coming in here. Matt says at 9:34 a.m. the 200-day moving average crossed over the 100-day. That's actually more of a bearish move. We want to see the lower numbers cross over the larger numbers. Let's check that out. I'm gonna pull it down here just so we don't have to. And I'm gonna go CLOV daily. I got EMAs up right now, but I'll just edit this study real quick and we'll pull up a let's see, move average. How can I change this? So studies, 1-day studies, and I'm gonna go in here and change this to 100. Okay, and change this to the 200, and we'll just see what you're talking about here. Yeah, I don't see it. Unless you're talking about like on a, I don't know. I don't see that on there. Let me get back to Wish. Keep Wish up here right now. If anybody's following Wish looks like it's popping too. Damn. All right. So again, this is the 1-minute chart up here now for CLOV. If anyone's confused why there's more bars over here than there is on the other ones. And I'll go ahead and let me see what my 1 minute looks like. All right. Narwhal's in the house. What's up, Narwhal? Co-creator says, I'm not using the words big move until we jump dollars, not cents. Yeah, I'd love to see us get move on to that next level. Like even 850, I feel like is a pretty significant level. Just looking at the options chain, right? Like they're going to want to keep us below that. So if we can break above 850 and hold above 850, I think that would be pretty significant for us, in terms of a move. But really, I want to see us get back above 9, get back above 10, like get those bigger moves to show that we're like, yeah, 8 was the floor, but we're beyond that now. We're ready to move forward. Pablo says price will go up. I'll FOMO buy more tomorrow, and it'll come back down after earnings. Nah, Pablo. I think we're ready to start moving. I really do. All right, Matt says on the 1 minute. On the 1 minute, okay. So typically, just so like for me at least, like on a 1 minute candle or a 5 minute candle, the lowest I usually will go for moving averages is like 50. All right, because when you're using smaller time frames, you're looking to project out smaller time frame moves, right? So like a 1 minute or a 5 minute candle is basically maybe you can use those to maybe project what's going to come in the next half hour, what's going to come in the next hour. That's kind of what you're looking for there when you're looking at moving averages and those crossing over. So with me, when I'm looking at a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart, I like to look at, the 9 EMA, the 21 EMA, and maybe I'll throw like the 50 EMA on there if I really want to see like some longer term stuff. But for like the 50, the 100, and the 200, I like to look at those on like a 4-hour chart or a daily chart, because now that's going to help me project what's coming in the future days or weeks. And that's typically how I like to play those. Leo, what's up? Good morning. Thanks for joining. Okay, let's see. So it looks like we lost VWAP here with CLOV. Maybe this 1 minute candle was bad luck. Let's go back to the 5 minute. See if that helps. But it looks like we're more. Let me see. I'm gonna put this back. I do like the 1 minute. So yeah, Wish looks like it's continuing to run up 3%. GameStop 1.2%. 2%, nothing much, but it's still positive on the day. DraftKings is now into negative territory, down 0.31. Zoom, man, if I had some dry powder right now, I would be all over Zoom. It's sub 380, it's at 378. And, I think it's going to at least go back up and test 400. But I'm expecting it to blow through 400 and probably go make a run to 440. If you wanted to play that safer, you could maybe wait for the break of 400 to jump in. But if DraftKings would have been up high this morning and I could have sold my DraftKings, I absolutely would have just rolled it right into Zoom because I really think that that's going to be a nice play there. Just going back and looking at Zoom real quick for anyone who's interested on kind of a, if you look at the price action, this is the daily chart, you kind of see these upward channels. It broke below and it looks like it's starting another upward channel. So this would be the bottom of the channel, and I would imagine it's going to get back up. But 400 has been a level of resistance for it, 404, somewhere in there. So to be safe, you could wait until it breaks 404. But that's a lot of movement that you can be a part of in there right now, getting in at 380, and it does look like it's holding on these. Again, these are shorter term moving averages. If we pull up my daily lines, yeah, it looks like it's holding right here on this 20 day, which is the quicker of the lines. So if I don't know, I think this might be a nice bounce opportunity for Zoom. I'm not in on it because I exited on Thursday and I rolled all my dry powder into more CLOV, VIH, and then reloaded some of my DraftKings. So I'm just waiting. But if I can get a nice profit on one of these other plays, I'm gonna sell and jump into Zoom again. I think this is really a good buy opportunity right now. There we go. As we're talking, it's starting to bounce up. It's at 381. So yeah, I think this might be the bottom right there for Zoom. Wish is still absolutely running. AMC took a nice little dive too, right around the same time CLOV did. Below VWAP, back down to only up 0.3 on the day. I think we're still up 1.6%. So still looking solid, and even that that pull through VWAP didn't have a lot of volume behind it. So I would imagine we should be able to bust back through here. Usually that's how it happens. If you see, and a lot of times it's easier to see like on a 5-minute, but we push back through VWAP here without like a ton of volume. And so that could be like a false breakdown. And now we're going to look for a new break up. If we can get back above VWAP right here and potentially bust through this 834, I think the only reason that we kind of cooled off on this 834 mark, the resistance was all at $8.30 and we broke right through it. But the RSI was trading in an really overbought territory. So now I would expect us to go back up and test the high of the day. And if we can break through that, we might see some significant action here. Get back on this 1 minute though, just because it's easier to kind of follow what's happening. GameStop's holding above VWAP, just bounced off of it and about to get across here. So this is kind of the same action that I'm looking for in CLOV. If GameStop can break above this, and close above this 155 mark, I think we could see a nice run out of them as well. Lisa says I exited any before the market opened. I'm not taking any charity cases. I feel you. Lisa, you seem to be pretty in tune with trading. Like I said, I know I talked about it before, but I've been bringing on different guests. I'd love to have you come on and even just talk, and I could probably learn from you too. Michael says we need more than 23 likes. Yeah, we got 72 in here. Let's get those likes up. I think it helps with driving more traffic into the stream. That's what I've heard at least. So I appreciate it. Pablo says options flow is bullish for CLOV. Let's take a look at that. I'm gonna pull up my TRADYTICS app, and Lisa was the one that turned me on to TRADYTICS. Um, you know, this app has a lot of good information in it. Here, I'll keep it this way so we can still watch CLOV at the same time. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm loving this TRADYTICS. Can't speak highly enough about it. So this is their options summary for CLOV for today. It's showing that we're bullish, 100,000 in net premiums bought. Um, if we look down here, their algo is even showing. Usually their algo, like when their algo is trading below the price, you'll see the price drop down. This is on a minute candle though, so it moves pretty fast. But right now they're showing that their algo is above. So we should see the stock price kind of get up here and potentially even cross above that. Let's see what kind of buys they show coming in today, if there is any. So large orders this morning. Looks like for September, the $10 strike, and for the 20th, the 850 strike. Yeah, and that's a lot of volume. The only thing that you know, sometimes it's hard to see because you don't know when you're looking at these kind of big buys that come in on, like this is big buys that came in on CLOV today, right? But the open interest is 1,400. The volume on this buy was only 1,000. 1,000's a lot if that indeed is a buy, but there's no way of knowing. That could be someone who already owned some of these 1,400 that's selling them, or it could be someone buying new. So sometimes when you see these buys, it's hard to know. The times when you really know is when you see these unusual contracts. And what I mean by that is if the open interest is 1,400 and we see a buy order come in above 1,400, then we can absolutely be certain that that was a buy because there's no way that someone could have sold more than what was already owned. But I would imagine these are probably buys just moving into earnings and the fact that they were bought near the ask would show that it's bullish sentiment. Okay, and Pablo just said near the ask. Yeah. Let's see here. Matt says puts below $8 got killed this past Friday. Absolutely. Target short sellers in the house. As he's buying more CLOV today. If you guys aren't already, go subscribe to Target Short Sellers. He's putting out great videos on CLOV. Along with Tar Heel, Al Trades, some of the other guys, Sean Stocks, Dutch. But Target Short Sellers really gives some unique insight, and he's doing it all the way from Belgium. So go support him. He's a great dude. He's been on a couple of the Rocket Roundtables. And he's buying more CLOV today. Let's see here. Let me see. I want to see if I can give you guys an example of those bullish contracts I'm talking about where you can absolutely tell that they are. I don't see any. I'm looking on DraftKings right now just to see if I see any unusual contracts. Nothing. All right. Couldn't find any. I just looked through a couple different stocks just to see if I could find any, and I couldn't. But basically, anyone who, even if you're not using TRADYTICS, if you're using something else, basically, whenever you see an unusual contract, what makes it unusual is when the volume of that purchase exceeds the open interest. And so what that means is now you can positively know that that is an additional order. So if you see, then someone new was buying calls, or someone new was buying puts or whatever it may be, whichever side of the chain it's on. Otherwise, we just know that it's volume, right? It could be somebody selling their existing calls or something of that nature. GameStop did just break above the high of the day, I believe. If that candle can close there, I think we can see a nice little run there. And I know I've said this in the past, but when we see GameStop run, usually you see the rest of the memes run with it. And CLOV, although I don't consider CLOV to be a meme stock, it does trade with the memes. So um, that should be could be good news for us if GameStop pops today and all of a sudden we start seeing CLOV. But what it looks like we're seeing right now is almost similar movement here on this candle. So I bet if we put GameStop to a 1 minute, yeah, we're seeing some fairly similar movements here. So the big number here for CLOV again would be closing above 834. Not a ton of resistance in here. So it looks like we got room to run. And RSI is back below 70, so we got some room to get it back in there. Yeah, GameStop shit hitting up above 160. Now Pablo's saying there's some block trades, so I think TRADYTICS also will give me the block trade stuff too. Let me look. We'll pull that up. So this is oh wow, GameStop's 159. All right, so this is intraday block trades that we're looking at right now, which I think is what Pablo's calling out. So at 9:36, we saw 18,000 traded. We saw 14,000 shares at 825 at 9:37. So yeah, there's some big buy orders coming in this morning. And now Aygo's saying call sweep at the 850 strike. Man, I can't keep up with this stuff. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, what it sounds like is happening is we're getting a ton of big buys coming in, moving into earnings. So that's good. I mean, we've seen nothing but institutional buying pouring into this stock over the last couple months, and it seems like that trend is continuing. So it's not just us as retail that are seeing this as a very undervalued play. It just seems like everybody else is starting to catch up to us now. So we're getting some big buy orders coming in, and that's all bullish for the stock. Even though I would imagine a lot of these block trades are taking place on ATSs or dark pools. Coach B stocks. Have you noticed that CLOV run June 8th, just a few days after AMC? Yeah, absolutely. Back then, when it happened, when I was streaming it, we were watching that AMC because I had bought some calls that day on AMC, and so AMC popped, and CLOV. That's when CLOV really started to kick it off and start moving. Was the day that AMC popped, and then CLOV continued on and popped into the next week. So yeah, absolutely. That's why I say, even though I don't consider CLOV to be a meme stock, it moves with the memes. So if we see GameStop pop today and tomorrow, that would end up, to me, it seems like CLOV has been following suit with some of these other ones. Let's see here. I'm just checking out my portfolio now. I'm not used to it being this positive. I'm holding some GameStop. I'm holding some DraftKings. DraftKings just ended up bouncing back and being up 1%. Just tracking Zoom. If anybody did get in on Zoom, I know I didn't yet, but if anybody got in when we kind of called that bottom down here, it did get back above VWAP now, and it's trading at 383. So up about what, $5, $6 since we saw that. And I would imagine this thing's gonna get up here and test 400, whether it be today or tomorrow. I really think that was a good opportunity to buy down there, in anything below 400. But I would just set your stop losses, anything below this 378 level, because it can come falling back down too, if it gets rejected off 400. I'm getting some FOMO on Zoom though. I really want to get back in, get back into it. Um, let's see here. So CLOV, we just hit our new high, 835, and now we should be able to get our own little run going. That's what we were looking for, was to break the high of the day, and now we should start seeing our own run. Looks like Wish is finding a ton of resistance. Let me pull up AMC and see what's going on there. Looks like AMC got back above VWAP too, so it's kind of lagging behind CLOV and GameStop. I did pull BlackBerry up, and it looks like BlackBerry is also trading above VWAP. So this could be a good day for the memes. What are we at? 7 right now. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna you guys excuse me for 1 second. I'll be right back. I just wanna, like I said, today's my first day going back to work, so I wanna go check on my kids and just make sure that they are getting ready like they're supposed to, because we're gonna be leaving the house here shortly. So I wanna just go check on them. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Where is my All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Eric's just got to take it down. So anyone who's new in here or whatever. So basically, I'm starting work again today. I mean, I've been working, but working from home. I'm a teacher here in California, and so we got sent home for COVID. Uh, God, it feels like almost 2 years ago. And while I've been working from home, we're going back to school today. So I'm cutting the stream short today at 7:30, basically in 27 minutes, just so that I can kind of see how it's gonna play out. Make sure that I get everything get there on time, traffic, all that kind of stuff, and drop the kids off, and then hopefully I'll be able to keep pushing it further out until 8 o'clock as we continue to go if everything's smooth. But I had a nice talk with my kids last night and just told them like, hey, if you want to help me out and be able to let me continue to do this and stream, I need you guys to, be ready. You got to have your shoes on. You got to have your teeth brushed, hair combed, all that stuff, so when I jump off the stream. So today we're shooting for 7:30. I'll see how it goes. I'd imagine they're still going to need some time to me to kind of push them to get ready, but we're going to see how it goes. So I just wanted to go out and check on them and make sure that they weren't playing PS4 in their pajamas. Um, but looks like they're on track. All right. Let's see here. Where we at? 704. Looking around the looks like BNGO did hit a high of 636 this morning, and then fell right back down immediately below VWAP. I don't know how I missed that one, but it's now at about 630. Still down on the day, trading at 628, between 628 and 630. AVXL also down on the day, trading at 1928. SOS up 10%, gapped up, and pre-market. I'd imagine that's on Bitcoin type news. I know crypto had a pretty decent weekend. Yeah, shares of several cryptocurrency related stocks trading higher amid a weekend increase in the price of Bitcoin. Um, let's see here. What else? So, like I said, BlackBerry's moving today. GameStop's moving. AMC's moving. Wish is moving. So it looks like a lot of the popular memes are moving right now. I'm excited to see how this plays. This could be the perfect setup for us in CLOV, where if we start, let's just say because all these memes are moving up and it kind of pulls CLOV along with it, and maybe we end up trading closer to 9 at earnings, and then we beat earnings expectations, and all of a sudden, who knows? That could be the jump that pushes us to 10 or 11, which would really kick things off. Um, Ekatab says, "What do you teach?" So I actually just started teaching like 5 years ago. I've been coaching for 20 years at the high school that I teach at, and opportunity to teach came up, and I was just running myself ragged in a printing business, commercial printing, and decided that it was time to kind of go somewhere with benefits and retirement and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, I'm teaching video productions, which is crazy because I just started doing this YouTube channel, but I've been teaching video productions for about 5 years. Um, and then I also just kind of got conned into, I guess it's been 6 years now. Got conned into doing yearbook about this will be my third year doing the yearbook class. So I teach electives, so it's pretty fun. The kids like it. The kids that are in the class want to be there, so it makes it easier. Um, Trenton says, "Great job, coach. Parenting come first." Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's like as much as I know, I keep saying I do this because I enjoy it. That's why. Like I'm gonna be sitting here watching these stocks anyways. And so one day, I think after doing Zoom for a year and a half teaching on the computer, just talking to a blank monitor, it's just like that's what kind of got me into doing the YouTube channel. And then once the YouTube channel started picking up and taking off, it was a friend of mine was just like, "Man, you should start trying to do a live stream." And because I'm sitting here watching the stocks anyway, so now it's fun. It's like I look forward to it. I get to come watch the stocks with you guys every morning. Um, and I really do. I look forward to seeing all the familiar faces and comments in the chat and everything else. Um, but at the end of the day, if I can't get it to work, with the kids and making sure they're ready for school and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to be able to continue to do it. So that's why, like I said, I talked to them last night and just explained to them like, "Hey, I need you guys to help me out and stay on top of it," because they've been home for a year and a half now too. So them going to school is going to be a little bit different. But they don't start school for two more weeks. Kevin says, "Do you chop it up with students and staff about investments?" Yeah, you know what? So like when I first started teaching, I think it was maybe it was 5 years ago, but um, I'm always still watching my stocks. I have a second monitor in my class, and I just have like I keep a couple of them up just so that I can, if I'm in the middle of something, I can just glance over and just see how. But during the school year, I just stick to swing trades, like nothing that I need to get out of today. I something that I can always go check the price at the end of the day and say, okay, I'm going to exit tomorrow, like more long term type stuff, like a CLOV type stock, or like my DraftKings play where I'm looking to stay into it till February or something like that. But yeah, so I had the very first year I had a student, two students in my class that were always on Robinhood, and I mean they had like these $100 accounts, and so I started talking to them about it, and like really kind of giving them some pointers, and they were showing me, like where they find like hot stocks on, I think it was TikTok or something. They were into it that way, and so we started having these discussions, and Now that you bring it up, I'd really love to get in touch with them and see where they're at now 5 years later, because they were seniors at the time. So now they got to be somewhere 22, 23. So it'd be interesting just to see where they're at in their whole investing. But yeah, it seems like every year there's always like 3 or 4 students that are interested in it, and then they'll come, like when they're done with their work, maybe sit at my desk and we'll talk this type of stuff, just investment strategies, different stocks, how to find potential stocks, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, really, I would love to teach a class about the stock market, and I feel like that stuff students should learn. Potentially it would be maybe an elective I'd look to try to get into. Fluffer says BT been going up and up every day. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, up 11% today. I'm just going to pull up a daily chart here. Wow. You're not lying. It's up 5 times since July 23rd, almost. Right. I don't know anything about that one, but I'm going to write that down and just look at it. I know you guys have called that out in the past too. There's so many opportunities out there. This is another crypto play, it looks like. But there's so many stocks out there that's why I always say, and learn from my mistakes, because I mean, I've learned the hard way so many times. You never want to rush into something. Like, there's always going to be other plays. Always. I know it might seem like, oh, I don't want to miss out on this opportunity, and you get that FOMO on plays, but that's why I try to keep it to like 4 stocks that I'm into. I know right now I got 6 that I'm kind of watching, but there will always be something. Every single day the market's open, there's going to be a runner that goes over 10% or a runner that goes over 30%. It's just always going to happen. And yeah, it might be hard to find those plays, but it's always going to be there. And so you never want to like FOMO into something at the top. You always want to take the time to know what you're getting into. I mean, yeah, if you look at, there may be a good entry point on a BTBT, which is fine, but you want to make sure you see some sort of technical analysis. Like right now, it's starting to break over VWAP. It did see some downward pressure, but if it was to get above VWAP and you wanted to day trade this, maybe you would get in, right now that it broke above and we saw this crossover, but then set your stop loss right below VWAP. But I guess what I'm getting at is there'll always be a play. So you just want to make sure that you don't FOMO in. You don't like all of a sudden jump into this BTBT up here at 2074 on a whim without having any sort of other knowledge behind it. And then all of a sudden you're feeling like shit down here at 1880 and selling for a loss. It might end up running past 2074 today, but I don't know. I'm not saying anything negative about BTBT. This might be a great play. But I guess what I was trying to get at, now that I'm rambling on, is just always make sure you know what you're buying. Because there's going to be runners every day, and if you miss an opportunity, you'll get another opportunity somewhere else. And sometimes you could make a shit load of money off a shitty stock. I mean, I'm not saying go do research on the fundamentals. Just maybe take the time, see why it's running, check out the news on it, make sure that you're finding a decent entry point, and always make sure if you are in a stock that you don't know much about, that you have a stop loss set, or you're watching it and paying attention with a mental stop loss. All that good stuff. All right. So AMC looks like it just kind of closed the highest candle of the day a little while ago. The high of the day was up here at 34.11. It didn't reach there, but it closed the highest 1 minute candle of the day. I could potentially see a bounce coming right here. You see a little bit of a flag there. It was just hitting at 70. I think AMC is going to pop at some point. I know I've been very vocal about what I think about the actual fundamentals of the company, but this stock that I don't think it's very strong fundamentally, but this stock tends to run, and I think it's due for another one here. So I've been keeping my eye on it. At some point, I'll buy some FDs that will probably end up burning up, but just to kind of get a little bit of piece of the action if this thing does run back to 70, I don't mind throwing $100 in just to potentially make some thousands. Scott says, have you ever done a chalk talk on TA? That's one of the ones. So I mean, I'm trying to start slow and really cover you know the basics first. Like I went over the difference between a market order and a limit order because they both play a lot in, when you want to get into a stock and that sort of thing. But I'm eventually, yeah, that's going to be something that I'll go over is kind of like how to read a stock, what moving averages are, what moving averages that I use at least. When I'm looking at different time periods on the charts, all that kind of stuff. So that's where I'm planning on going with it, is trying to get into like the TA side of it. Really just anything. I mean, there's so much stuff out there that we can talk about. um and my goal is to maybe, what is it, 5 days in a week, put out at least 5 chalk talks a week. So even if that means I record 2 of them today, and then take tomorrow off or whatever, but just make sure that I'm putting out 5 a week. And then at some point, I'll try to organize them a little bit better. So maybe there'll be a playlist just for options, a playlist just for technical analysis, a playlist for day trading techniques, playlist for market terminology, that sort of thing. So that's my whole goal, like what I'm envisioning in my head. It's just a matter of getting to that point. Someone didn't like that about the playlist breakdown. I got my first thumbs down of the day. All right. Where are we at now? So it looks like CLOV just hit the high point of the day, hitting 836, and we got a little bit of rejection there. And we're seeing kind of a little bit of a buildup again at the 830 mark. This is where we saw a lot of that resistance earlier. Now it looks like maybe a little bit more at 829, but we still have a lot of support, just as much support on the other side. That's not a ton though. 4,000, 4,000. I know I switched back over to Thinkorswim, so if you're not used to looking at this, if you guys could even see it, the time and sale, or the level 2 here is by 100. So when you see 13, that's 1,300. That's not just 13 shares. Same thing on this side. We see 29, that's 2,900. Sell order on this side. So nothing significant. Earlier we saw a ton of resistance at 830 way back here, but we busted right through it. We came back down and cooled off afterwards, but we ate through those sell orders. So I'd really love us to stay above VWAP right now and turn this around, finish off another I wonder how that's going to work. So anyone who's been in here for a while, basically every day before I sign off, we start going green. And I always joke about how, the market was waiting for me to sign off for CLOV to turn around. But now if I'm signing off a half hour earlier, does that mean we start running earlier? We'll have to see how that works out. It does look like, yeah, CLOV's coming down. GameStop was kind of coming down after seeing some rejection here. Same thing with AMC, and it looks like it was all around the same mark, like 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven. There's 7-Eleven for CLOV. So CLOV actually ended up and hit a high after that 7-Eleven mark when the other memes started trading downwards. But looks like they're all starting to drag down a little bit. The S&P has been kind of trending downward since almost 650. Just taking a look around. Nothing too exciting happening anywhere else either. Fluffer says Traeger hit $30 now. Now I regret not. Yeah, I remember you were talking about Traeger and was it Weber? You were talking about those two, and then because I remember the conversation because I have a Traeger and a Weber, um, in my backyard. Let's see, BTIF up 16%. What's BTIF? Big jump here in pre-market. Is this another crypto related stock? Yeah, it looks like it is. So it seems like all the crypto got a big pump over the weekend. Um, and so a lot of the crypto related stocks are moving. I would think Mara's probably moving too. Yeah. And Riot, those are the two big ones. They're also up huge too. So yeah, it looks like all the crypto. I know SOS is a crypto one as well. So they all pumped up in pre-market and then they're starting to come down and potentially fill these gaps. That's what makes it scary too, right? I mean, they're all up percentage wise, but when you look at them, SOS looks to be trading sideways now. BTIF trading sideways, so they all gapped up this morning. BT though was the one that Fluffer called out. Went on a nice little run. Who knows? They could all try to come down and fill this gap at some point, and or not, and continue to run. So that's why you just always want to have a stop loss on. You always want to be, protect yourself, especially with shares. Sometimes with calls, it's a little bit different. If you go in and just buy like some lottery ticket, FD, same week expiration type stuff, because yeah, it's risky as hell, but it's kind of like I kind of look at it as a stop loss, right? When you're getting into a cheap contract like that, it's like, okay, well, if this thing explodes, I'm going to make a ton of money. If it doesn't, I just burn the $50 that I threw in on this stock or something. And usually, if your stop loss gets hit, you lost 50 to $100 or whatever. So I kind of look at it the same way. Sometimes when I'm playing these runners and I want to jump in on something that maybe I'm FOMOing into a little bit, I'll kind of do it in that fashion and just buy some options that are quick expiration, because if the stock's going to run, I'm going to get paid. If it's not, I'm going to lose. And it would have worked the same way if I bought shares or if I bought these kind of short-term calls. So that's the way I play those a lot of times. Scotty, have a good day, man. Thank you for joining me. I just seen in the chat that you said you're taking off. I appreciate you coming in. Let's see here. So we did hold VWAP, it looks like. We fell below, but again, like I said, whenever we fall below without a lot of volume, you'll see a reversal coming right back. And now we're holding it. We are on a 1 minute trading, MACD trading negative. But that's all good, right? So the way I like to look at this, and I mean, I'm not day trading this stock anyways, but, if we're trading red on the MACD, but we're holding above VWAP, that means the next time that we end up turning around and going green on the MACD and the RSI gets back above 50 and, runs above 70, that's going to give us an even higher room to run. So like now this next time that we maybe get into the overbought territory, back then, the highest we were able to hit was 834. Now we're getting geared up for our next run. We end up going green on the MACD. We might run up to 850 this time before getting into overbought. So, this is still pretty bullish. We're holding above VWAP, and that's where we want to be at. Asin says, thanks for the info. No problem. I mean, I learn every day. But I also like to share what I learn, and in terms of I'm pretty confident about like some of the stuff, like when I'm talking about my experience and how things work, I'm very confident. Sometimes when I'm giving plays, I mean, shit, I'm wrong on plays too, right? I mean, no one's picking 100% winners. I have a feeling that CLOV is absolutely I'm going to be correct on. But you know, I do like to throw out certain plays and stuff, and I'm not always right. There's times when I'm wrong. You know, if I had the cash and I could have bought in on this Zoom here, you know, and then maybe even just sold right when it fell below VWAP. A lot of times I like to day trade, you know, like that, like with call options, you know, but maybe buy some cheap weeklies and write them up and then sell for a profit intraday, things like that. But again, let's see. Oh, what's this? Co-creator says AMC is trying to break 34. Oh yeah. See, AMC is one of those stocks where it's just like out of the blue. Like earlier on, it looked like it was lagging behind GameStop and CLOV, and now it's looking to be the front runner. So, although GameStop is up 5% on the day, AMC is only up 3.5. CLOV is at about 3%, but these seem to be the big three right now. I know Wish was another big mover. Yeah, up 3%. Might as well just throw them all on 1 minute candles at this point. Wish looks like maybe it's going to try to get up here and break through that previous high of the day too. So I do need to sign off in about 4 minutes. You know, like I said, today I'm going to cut it a little short, see how it goes with bringing the kids to school and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate everybody for joining me. I would imagine that CLOV is going to continue strong today. We've been seeing it get kind of attacked hard late in the day. So, you know, even if we end up running up and hitting the high of the day at 850, I wouldn't be shocked at all if all of a sudden we start getting hammered down in power hour, you know, to still close green on the day, but not nearly as high as we are right now. That just seems to be the pattern. And I would imagine they're going to try to suppress this price into earnings and attack it into earnings. We'll see how the rest of the day goes. But that's what I'm expecting. For those of you guys that want to continue watching, go make sure that you go check out Tar Heel. He didn't come on here today because he's doing his own stream with Champion Vibe. They're going to be talking about technical analysis and some trade ideas and some other stuff. So he's actually live streaming right now. If you guys want to jump over and jump on his, you know, go support him. He just hit 1,000 yesterday, 1,000 subscribers. Really excited for the guy. He works hard. You know, puts out a lot of good information on CLOV, and he's kind of become the leader of this CLOV movement, at least for the CLOV subreddit and YouTube. So definitely go support him. You know, when you sign off here, if you got the chance. And I think he's going to keep going for another hour and a half from this point. So should be pretty interesting. I'll be listening to his show on my way to work right now, and yeah. Thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate the support. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the video. And I will see you tomorrow, 6 a.m., half hour before the market opens. Everybody have a great day. Hopefully, you know, any of these stocks that we're in, we're just making more money so that we could load it back into our big plays like CLOV and some of these other ones. All right. Check you guys later.